Hello guys, welcome to History Cabinet. What we have on our table today to discuss is Sudanese coup. There have been a military takeover in Sudan which occurred 3 days ago, that is on 25th of October 2021. And this military takeover has sought to the arrest of a prime minister. Military takeovers are nothing new in Africa, as Africa has been plagued with tons of military takeovers. Just this year alone, Africa has experienced or witnessed military takeover in countries like Mali, Guinea-Bissau, and Sudan. The army has been seen in most cases to be an instrument in removing an undemocratic or a tyrant government. But in some cases, the army has also been seen in dethroning or removing a democratic leadership. The army is an instrument of violence in the country, and also it controls other instruments of violence. And the army can be manipulated into causing great harm to the democratic processes of a government or a country. This recent coup d'etat in Sudan has lacked legitimacy from the people of the country. Sudan has been trying to consolidate or strengthen its democracy, which is very weak. The democracy that it has managed to squeeze out in pains after decades or several years of harsh and brutish autocratic rule, that is, rule of a dictator, which worked hand in hand with international isolation. And after the last coup, before this coup on 2019, when they seized power from a long-time ruler, Omar Al Bashir, since then, the democracy that has been established in Sudan has been very, very weak, and have been trying to put up democratic processes and strengthen those processes and pillars of democracy to ensure the sustenance of the new found system of government. But sadly, on Monday, the military conducted a junta exercise which led to arresting and detaining of some key political figures. And this also led to the destroying of already established democratic processes, closing the window on democracy. Destroying the democracy the country has tried and worked very hard to uphold barely 2 years and a half after the toppling of the government of Omar Al Bashir. It all started on Monday as General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, the leader of the coup, started arresting political figures, that is, key political figures, and also he took control of the capital, Khartoum. The Prime Minister, Abdallah Hamdok, who is a civilian, resisted the coup, and he also called for popular resistance to the coup on 25th of October, which was the day of the coup. But he was later arrested on 26th of October and placed on house arrest. There have been massive protests since the staging of the coup, and many groups and people, even the civilians in the country, have refused to recognize the transfer of power. They have denied the coup plotters the legitimacy to rule the country. A lot of international organizations have condemned the coup in Sudan. Some of them are still acknowledging the previous government. These are some of these organizations and countries. On Wednesday, the African Union said that it has suspended Sudan from the Union until civilian rule is restored. They condemned the military takeover, calling it unconstitutional taking over of government. ECOWAS is among those countries. The United States of America, the European Union. The United States has seized $700 million worth aid that it normally gives to the country, which is approximately equals to £508. The military takeover has sparked wide protest all over the country, with protesters agitating and asking the coup plotters to bring back democracy to them. They are chanting that what all they needed is democracy in the country. The coup leader, who is also the head of the military in Sudan, has earlier announced on the television the dissolving of the previous government. He also, in the midst of the widespread protests, went ahead to declare a state of emergency in the states. Military men were sent on the streets to prevent violence. Many people have been killed since 4 days ago, since the protest started, and more are being killed. The special forces and armed operatives have now resorted to using a live weapon on protesters. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has strongly condemned the state of Sudan now under the military government. Thousands of people have been pushed to the streets in protest following the coup in Sudan capital, Khartoum. The military has responded with high-handedness to the demonstrations in the street, and reports have said that they opened fire on protesters. These protesters went on to use burning tires to cause a barricade on roads, that is to block roads, while some retreating to their neighborhood for their procession. And many of them were shouting, "Civilian rule is the people's choice." According to New York Times, they said that many women were shouting no to militant rule or military rule. The persistent demonstration made the military nervous, and they started opening fire at the crowd. They have, as of recent, yesterday, according to reports, they have killed 7 people and they have wounded at least 140 others. This report was given by an official in the Ministry of Health of Sudan. Many reports has been gathered that the military has been going to house in Khartoum, that is the capital of Sudan, arresting local protest organizers and protesters. The coup plotters even went as far as pressuring Mr. Hamdok, the former prime minister, to release a pro-coup statement admitting that he's a supporter of the coup, which he refused. The Sudan Ministry of Health and doctors have gone on strike, unless in emergency cases, because of the coup. With this, we can see that the civilians in Sudan are not ready to accept military government. They have been chanting and protesting since the coup started last week. They have been protesting and shouting that they should bring back their civilian government for them, that they should bring back democracy for them, that they are not ready to accept military rule. And as a matter of fact, civil servants have now gone on strike because they are not ready, according to them, to work for a military government. Even doctors have also gone on strike, like I told you, unless they will intervene, unless on emergency cases. They have gone on strike saying that they will not work and they cannot work under military government. So tensions are now going high in Sudan, and matters are now rising. Coup plotters and coup leaders, the generals involved in this coup, are not ready to release power.
They are not ready to drop power. International bodies and international organizations have said their mind, and they have all condemned the coup. ECOWAS have condemned the coup. They have suspended Sudan from the Union. AU, like I told you earlier, have suspended Sudan from the Union. And so many other things are still unfolding. A lot of grants and aids that normally come to Sudan, they have all stopped. And as it stands now, the coup leaders are now trying, by all means, they are now trying tooth and nail to make sure that they restore order and quell the protest. But as things are, I don't think the protest can be quelled anytime soon, unless it leads to a revolution. With these explanations, the floor is open for anyone that wants to air his view in what is happening in Sudan now. You are free to air your view. According to me, according to my own side, I don't think the coup leaders will drop power. They cannot drop power because coup d'etat is a one-sided game. It's a game that is very risky. Because I think that if they drop this power now and do follow this thing, follow international organizations' desires and stuff like that, they will be afraid that maybe they will be arrested, jailed, prosecuted for the attempted coup, stuff like that. And if they succeed in dropping it, I think they will run out from the country and go and seek asylum from other countries. Because if we look at other people that have participated in stuff like that, all of them will always run off. And also in the side of the former civilian leaders and stuff, if they give them power, there is a possibility that they will prosecute them. So because of that, the coup plotters, and I don't think the coup plotters are in any way going to restore balance. They are not going to restore power to the civilian government. Even if they promise us civilian transition or transition to civilian rule, I don't think it's going to be feasible. So now you can air your view in the comment section. If you are new to this YouTube channel, please like, share this video and subscribe so that we can grow together, so that we can get to a point whereby a lot of people will air their view and we can learn in this community. See you in our next video. Bye.